Okay, so this is a test of the new Obsbot Tail Air with AI tracking, point, tilt and zoom, and gesture control. Hello the internet, hope you're all well. Thank you very much for stopping by. Okay, I have another product review for you today and I'm looking at the brand new Obsbot Tail Air. Now this is a 4K streaming stroke webcam device which makes a lot of bold claims. I'm looking forward to testing it out once I've opened it up and had a look inside and had a good old play with it. It's claiming AI tracking, it's got gesture control, it's got point, tilt and zoom, PTZ, a lot of things that my existing cameras don't currently have. So I should be interested to see if that works as well as it claims it does. I've not opened it yet, so we'll go ahead and unbox this together shortly. I have tested a number of products for Amazon over the years, most recently the Nearstream VM33, which also made a few bold claims, but just didn't really deliver. The optical zoom on it was really good, but beyond that, the quality of the video footage wasn't particularly good. The sound rarely synced up with the video, and the longer you recorded for, the more it became disjointed. So I was quite disappointed with that, actually. The other devices that I use, as you can see here, are ones that I bought myself from Amazon right at the start of lockdown, actually. I got a Logitech C920, which I still use daily on my works laptop to do all the Teams calls, because I still work from home in my little cube here. And then the one I bought was a Logitech Brio 4K webcam, which I still use today, sat over there over my shoulder when I'm doing YouTube streams, and that's a pretty good camera. Sometimes it's usually 2 or 3 frames out of sync with the audio, which I have to sync up again in Adobe Premiere, but it's a good camera though, that is. But other than that, the camera that I'm filming to you on at the moment is again another product that Amazon sent me to test out, which was a Canon Lagria HF G70, which is it's a proper video camera type thing, but it's what I use for my webcasts and streaming things as my main camera. And I'm looking at it to you now, and although it's not designed for that kind of thing, and it's a bit more money than everything here, it does the job pretty good. I did a review on it back in May. There was a few things I was critical about it, mainly things that are relevant to webcam use, which it's not really designed for, but it's what I use it for. It is a really good camera, actually, but that's not what we're looking at today. I am comparing the Obsbot. So let's go ahead and open this thing up and see what's in it, and then I'm going to be playing with it over the next couple of weeks. It's Boxing Day today, actually. It came on Saturday the 23rd of December, so I've not had a chance to do much with it yet. Obviously Christmas kind of got in the way, wife's gone off to work, so it's given me a little bit of opportunity to get on with doing a few things, like making some pizza dough to make a pizza out of leftover Christmas dinner. And do a bit of gardening as well, and the football's on in a few minutes as well. So what we got here, this is the Obsbot Tail Air, Mastermind on Air. So what's in here? I assume some destructions of some nature. Indeed there is. A quick start guide. I'll have a play with that before I start operating it, because I do tend to go bludgeoning in before I actually read any of the instructions. So we've got an app to download. I've actually already downloaded the app, the Obsbot Start app, which is available on App Store and Google Store as well. Oh, this is funky. This is it's all in one box. That's what I like. I like having something that's all in one box. It's nice having it's all right having a camera or a microphone or something that's in a single case, but then you get all the attachments that aren't in the same case. But that I like that. First impression is pretty good. Nice case that is. What we got in? Ooh, that's nice. Let's take this out of here. Ooh, that's a bit dinky than I was expecting. Obviously, I've got the image up on my Amazon page at the moment, but no, that's quite swish, isn't it? Can you see that? So what have we got here? So we've got a single USB-C connection there. Looks like the I have a record or power on button there. There's a smaller USB. There's a micro USB port by the looks of it there, and it looks like a micro SD card slot in there as well. But I shall go ahead and have a play with that and work out what does what. But that looks quite funky, and yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this a bit of a go. What else we got in here then? Got a little packet with what I assume will be a USB-C cable. It is indeed, so a USB-A to USB-C cable there. We've got anything else in here? What's that in there? That might be a USB-C to A adapter, maybe. Oh, it's a splitter. In fact, it's a USB-C to dual USB-C splitter. That's interesting. So one's for power, one's for data transfer. That's interesting. That's quite a little funky device. And then, what's this one? This might be that's a USB-A to USB-C converter. So if you've only got a USB-A port available, then you can change it over to from USB-C to USB-A. Right, okay, cool. I think that's all that we're getting in here. So there's no remote control included in here. I've seen there is a remote control available for this, but it's not included in this. That's an extra purchase. And from what I understand, you can link up multiple ones of these, which is one of the selling points of that. You can have multiple cameras all linked to the same broadcast, so you can have a multiple camera setup for streaming, which sounded good in principle, but in action it didn't really work. But this, well, I'm hoping this is going to be pretty good. It's about well, the RRP is about £100 more than the Nearstream, although at the moment on Amazon it's more like £140, £150 difference. So at time of testing, this is £499, so it's not an insignificant amount of money. It's a quite hefty chunk, because the Logitech C920 is usually retailing on Amazon for less than £100 these days, and the Logitech Brio, whatever I've done with it, there it is there, is usually another £40–50 on top of the C920. So I need to see if the video quality is as good as those, or it should be better than the C920. It should be at least equal to the 4K Brio. Hoping it's better than the Nearstream, because that was awful. And I'll see how the sound syncs up, but most importantly, I'm interested in seeing all the smart AI stuff, the gesture controlled. From what I gather, is you do things to make it record, zoom in, follow you around, change focal points. So yeah, this should be pretty funky. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give this a trial over the next few days, in a couple of weeks maybe, and see how we get on. So I'll catch you in a moment. Okay, this is my first video test of the Obsbot Tail Air streaming camera. I've had it out of the box now best part of 2 hours. I've been playing with the camera, I've been playing with the apps to get used to the settings, and I've had it on charge by the USB-C cable. It was up to 100% charge, which was indicated by 4 lights on the front of the device. And for the last half an hour or so, I've had it on battery power alone. The last 5 minutes or so, it's gone down to 3 battery lights, which suggests it's down to about 75%. So on that metric, we're looking at about an hour and a half to 2 hours of battery life, but I shall monitor that to see what it genuinely gives us. But at the moment, I am on completely battery power alone. Not currently recording from the camera. I'm just going to show you how I'm going to conduct this test. I'm currently streaming via the camera to my iPad Pro Gen 5 12.9 inch, and they are currently connected by Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz, it says, which is connected to my Virgin Superhub 5, which is in the far bottom corner of the house, in the living room where it comes into the house, and I'm in the far corner of the other side of the house in the third bedroom in my office. So it's sending the signal from the camera all the way down to the Virgin Superhub, back again, and the delay is, well, there barely is any delay from what I can see on my screen. It's pretty much immediate. And what I'm looking at on my iPad, I'm currently recording this through my iPhone Pro 14, but on here we've got a little broadcast window, and then the main window is what the camera's looking at. But the broadcast window, that's the important bit, because that shows you what the camera's actually doing. At the moment, it's zoomed fully out. If I want to zoom that in, then I can use a gesture control to do it. But I'm going to start my recording of the camera now by gesture control, which is this, the OK signal. There we go. We're now recording. I can see in the top left corner of the screen that it's showing a timer, so that's good. It's fully recording. Now, the flashing green light on the front as it's showing at the moment, that's the indicator light to show you that it's either doing something or is in receiving mode. It's currently flashing green because that means it's not in tracking mode. So if I move left and right, it's not following me. It's in static mode at the moment, which is good if you want a fixed camera, so you can move around and it doesn't move the actual camera itself. If I want to change that, then I can put it into tracking mode, into this AI tracking mode, which you do by putting your hand like that. and there you go. There's a green box that appeared around the screen, and I can move left and right like that. Now, it looks like it's moving quite slowly, but it does move quite quick if you move quick. So if I stand up and then I sit back down again, oh, it doesn't like that, does it? It really doesn't like that. Now, it's done that a few times since I've been testing it over the last hour or so. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's when I jump up fast and I've got an X-wing, a Lego X-wing that sticks out over the top of my shelving there. I don't know if it's been picking up that, but it just does something. It just loses itself, and I struggle to get it back. It's just fixed on the something up there. And I really do think it's the X-wing. It's very odd that is. It's done it a couple of times. Now, there are a number of options down in the bottom left corner of the app that you can choose to get the AI tracking to do various things, whether it's full auto, doing half body, full body, various things like that. So maybe I need to play with that to get it to work fully, but a little bit odd, so I should keep an eye on that. But let's go back to what I was doing. So we've got the full tracking. So if I do it, let's try not to go too high this time. So it does go. There we go. It didn't quite come into with the X-wing in shot there. I really wonder if it was that. But otherwise, it's very good. I like this tracking, with the exception of that thing there. So let's go up again and back down again. Yeah, it's doing it all right. Anybody walking past my window is going to wonder what the heck I'm doing. But no, I think that's pretty good. It's keeping me in shot pretty well. Hard to tell from my iPad whether it's keeping me in focus or not. I should check that in post. But it seems pretty good at the moment, and that seems quite impressive. Now then, the zoom function. It's currently at full focal zoom, looking at the broadcast mode. If I want to zoom in, I can zoom into a preset zoom level. It's defaulted to 2x zoom. It's currently at the moment. You can choose it to be less zoom or more zoom, but it's currently defaulted to 2x zoom, and you do an L shape. I'm going to do this with this hand here because it seems to pick it up now. The light flashes a bit more and it's zoomed in. The indicator light flashes a bit rapidly to say, yes, I am in gesture tracking mode, and I can see that you've done a gesture. And then in the broadcast window, I can see that it's zoomed in on me. So again, if I watch the blue flashing light on the iPhone's recording and do this again, it goes a bit quicker. There we go. And it's zoomed out. That's working well. I'm doing it with my right hand because it's going up against a darker background. If I go with my left hand, you've got this the timber of the bookcase and the Stormtrooper helmet, and it sometimes gets lost in there. It doesn't quite pick out the gesture. It does say in the book to make sure you don't do it in front of your face, probably because you've got skin tone on skin tone. You can't see it quite so well, maybe. But so make sure you do it in a position that it's picking it up and off it goes. Now then, I'm going to do the other zoom function, which is a smart zoom function, which you do 2 L's like that. Now, it's flashing, so it's in tracking mode, and if you do move in and left like that, now, this is the one that doesn't work quite so well. All the others seem to work pretty well, but again, I don't know if it's because it's not being able to distinguish between light and dark colours, but do that, so it's definitely in tracking mode, and we've got a bit of zoom function there. There we go. That's what you do, but it's just a bit clunky, that one is. Do again and go to tracking. That's zoom in, so that's a zoom in as far as it will go, and it doesn't quite. There we go. Zoom back out again. You've just got to do it in the right position. Just a bit clunky, that is, but all the other things seem to work really well. So, like I say, at the moment I'm in tracking mode. If I want to turn it off tracking mode, I do that. It'll flash and it'll go back to green colour. There we go, so I can move around and it's not going to lose myself. Right, lighting wise, I'm currently recording this with just my room lights on, which is 4 Hue GU10 bulbs up there, GU10, GU40, whatever, the spotlight bulbs up there, and my RGB lights that I've got for my gaming type things. If I turn all of those off and show you what the lighting's like with just ambient light, so Alexa, turn off the light. Okay, so I've got no spotlights on, no RGB lighting. The only lights I've got are my laptop screen, my iPad screen, and my iPhone screen. and what's coming in through the window at the moment. It's a grey, murky old day. This is. It's I think it's Wednesday after Christmas. I've completely lost track of what days it is, and we've currently got a storm at the moment. Storm Gerrit. So it's a grey day out there. It's actually just stopped raining by the looks of it, but it's just a miserable day. So I'm only illuminated really by what's coming in through my window at the moment. So what does that look like to you? I can't tell at the moment until I've looked in post, but it seems all right. I don't know if it's grainy or not. What do you think of that? Let's turn all the lights off by closing the curtains and see what it does. So that's the curtains closed. How grainy does that look to you? Now let's see if it actually continues to track my my gesture control. So let's go like that. Does it track that? Oh, yeah, it does. It's struggling a little bit in the broadcast window, but it seems to have done that. Let's go back again, tracking it. There we go, zoom back out again. So that's pretty much zero light. It's only my laptop screen and very limited light coming off of my iPad and iPhone. Let's go to how I would normally record. So I normally have my curtains closed. I would have my ambient light, so the spotlights and my RGB lighting. So I'll turn that back on again. Alexa, turn on the light. So I'll turn on the spotlights and the RGB lighting, and then when I'm doing my pieces to camera, I've got various broadcasting light panel things here. I've only got one which will be turning on at the moment, so I'll turn that on now. This is what the light will be when I've got some proper studio lighting on. You can see it's another one of those that's currently turned off because I'm filming for me. I don't want that glaring out. But that is pretty much how I'd have a normal broadcast. What does that lighting look like to you? I'll let you comment on that one. Okay, audio. So the microphone. I'm using the inbuilt microphone. There's two little holes either side of the indicator lights, and they're the dual microphone. So what does that sound like to you just by the internal microphone? Now there is a auxiliary port on the back, I noticed. I'm going to try some external microphones as well. You need to set those up in the app. At the moment it's defaulted to the camera. So this is the sound from the microphone that's picking up internally on the camera itself. What does that sound like to you? I do have I've got a USB Blue Yeti microphone. Now I don't know if the USB port on the side just is for power or for connecting to the computer. I hope it's for connecting to the computer, because at the moment I'm streaming just to my iPad. It would be nice to be able to use this as a streaming camera straight to my laptop. Funnily enough, I think I've got a delivery from Amazon. I do. I have a delivery from Amazon, so I shall be back shortly. So yes, ironically, it was an Amazon delivery. But okay, let's continue the test. What I want to do now is I want to take it out and about. It's currently, obviously, everything's been done in, let's call it studio conditions, but I want to move it around. I like to film outside using proper daylight conditions. Probably not going to do it today because it's drizzling out there, not particularly nice day. But I do want to test it elsewhere. I also want to try out the tracking function with something fast moving other than myself. If you've ever seen any of my other videos, I've got a border collie, and that's quite a fast moving device, that thing is. So I shall see how well it tracks out. I might dig out a remote control car or something to see how it gets on. But all right, so far I've been very, very impressed with it. So let's see if that continues outside. So I'll catch you in a moment. Just before I disappear off and do any other tests, I've just picked up the camera, and that is really hot under there. Really, really hot. I shall keep an eye on that, but be careful what you put there, because I've had this on my my sound bar just here, and you won't want to put that on something that easily melts, because that is really warm under there. Anyway, I'll go and do my other test now. See you in a moment. Okay, you've already seen this at the start of the video. This was me doing an experiment of the AI tracking, and I'm moving quite slowly here. It's doing an alright job. I'm perhaps just a little bit in front of the centre of the shot. But this is my border collie. This was only a short period of time ago, just as the sun was setting, so the lighting conditions aren't brilliant. It's doing an alright job, to be totally honest with you. But this is Storm, and she is not at full tilt at the moment. She's pretty much just trotting around. She's not the fastest moving thing at the moment, and when she goes out of shot at this point here, she'll come back into shot and the camera's lost her. So that wasn't ideal, and this is at a slightly closer zoom level, and it's kept her in shot there, but as soon as she puts the afterburners on, it's going to struggle. I mean, it's moving quickly, but it's hunting around trying to find her, and it's just not quite ideal. Okay then, I've managed to connect the Obsbot Tail Air to my Windows laptop over USB, and it did take some tinkering. It's not straightforward. First of all, you have to go onto either your tablet or mobile phone and via the Obsbot Start app. You go to the settings, and then in there you'll find a setting for various different recording functions, and it's set up to record locally onto the internal memory card. But there's an option stated UVC, which is a toggle switch, and then when you turn that on, you get a little pop-up saying you won't be able to record in this mode. Then you need to use the USB-C splitter. You might be able to just see it on the back of the camera there, because you will need to give it power and also have a data cable going through to your laptop. I'm not sure whether you are able to generate power over the same cable. I wasn't able to get it to connect until I did this, so use the splitter, get a power to the USB-C port and also your USB-C data cable. I was able to use a USB-A to USB-C cable. That works all right. You then need to download the Obsbot Tail Air software for Windows. It's a webcam facility. You download that, install it, log on, and you'll then be able to connect to the camera. But again, you will still need to highlight the UVC option in there, otherwise it won't detect it. It's odd because it does kind of detect it, because I can get it to do things. I can manually turn on the AI tracking and things on the app on Windows, but I wasn't able to see the camera until I selected this UVC function. When I selected that UVC function, it then became available. I went into my camera app, which is what I'm looking at and recording this bit of this clip on at the moment, and all of my various cameras. So my Canon as I'm recording now, and all my other little Windows webcam type things are in there as well. It overrode my default microphone, which is my Blue Yeti, with the Obsbot microphone, and I've gone back and reset my Blue Yeti as the main microphone. So this should be recording my voice through the Blue Yeti microphone, but recording on my HF Canon Lagria. I'm now going to swap to the Obsbot so you can see the difference between what I would regard as a very high-end Canon video camera, which I use for these pieces to camera, versus the Obsbot. Both are 4K, and both will be recording sound through the Blue Yeti microphone. So I'm going to swap over now and see what you think. Okay, we've swapped over now to the Obsbot Tail Air. Got the exact same lighting conditions. It's just it's about 8 inches forward of my Canon and about 1.5 to 2 inches higher than the Canon, but otherwise everything is exactly the same. So it's currently on tracking function at the moment, so obviously my Canon doesn't do that. It's a static image, but with this I can wander around. I can show you what's going on here. There's my bookcase over here, and go over to here to the all the controllers over here. I can stand up, sit down, do all sorts of things. It's going to track me around if I want it to do that. Otherwise, do that. And there we go, we're into static mode, so I can move around now, and there we go, it's back to being a static webcam. Now, from what I can see at the moment, that, I'm looking at my laptop, so I'm streaming it into the Windows camera app, looks very, very similar. I'll compare it side by side in Adobe Premiere when I piece all this together, but that looks quite impressive. It was, like I say, a bit of a faff to get it all set up. And I would assume that when I want to use this again with my tablet or mobile phone, I'm going to have to disable UVC on the app to get it back to record on the memory card, because it's acting purely as a webcam. It's not recording internally on the camera. If I want to record, I need to record on Windows software. So that'll be either with the built-in camera app on Windows when I do these pieces to camera, or on one of the various streaming things. Streamlabs is what I tend to use for my YouTube videos. So in fact, let's try that now. Let's see if it works on one of the various streaming apps, whether it's OBS Studio or whatever. Bear with me a second. Okay, there we go. We are now all connected with Streamlabs. That was a work of but a few seconds. Just a case of selecting the new device, new video streaming device, and it came up in a drop-down list of all the cameras I've got in my current network at the moment. It's yeah, it's tracking me quite nicely. It is bouncing around a little bit, I notice. It's not quite settling down there. See it just bouncing around a little bit. Let's go to get rid of the tracking. So there we go. It should be fixed now. There we are. Okay, I think it's time for me to do a bit of a wrap-up now. I've had this since a couple of days before Christmas, but I only started using it on Boxing Day. It is now the 28th. It's Thursday the 28th of December, so I've had it a couple of days now. And I have been... yeah, I've been pretty impressed with this. Perhaps my expectations were set a bit low after getting all excited about the Nearstream VM33, which just didn't deliver on its promises. This made even bigger, bolder claims. I didn't think it would deliver on all of them, but on the whole, it's been pretty impressive. So what we got? Let's go through it. So it's the Obsbot Tail Air streaming camera 4K. Yes, it does do 4K. Is it as good as my Canon Legria? Not quite. When you put it side by side, I think you'll notice that the Canon was a little bit better. However, comparing it to my Logitech C920 and the Logitech Brio over there, I think it was a better camera overall. The video quality and the sound quality, much better. It's just falling down on a camera that's more than twice as expensive, so I think that's forgivable. What else we got? The AI tracking. Now, the AI tracking you've seen is pretty good, but it struggled on fast-moving objects. I tried it with my Border Collie Storm in the garden. It would track her when she was perhaps trotting, but as soon as she broke into more than a run, into a sprint, it struggled. It also wants to, when something changes direction, which a Border Collie does a lot, it will keep panning for a moment. And if she's changed direction and it can't find it again, then it's gone into tracking mode, hasn't it? Let me turn the tracking mode off again. Right. Yeah, if something, let me put my hand, I do use my hands a lot. If the camera keeps on tracking and Storm, in my case, our Border Collie, changed direction and ran off in another direction and the camera was unable to find her, then it would hunt around for something else to focus onto, and it would just end up, focusing on something completely random, and I'd struggle to get it back. And that's what happened when it went up to the X-wing up there. It locked on that, and I really struggled to get it to come back. I was fighting it. I was trying to override it with the joystick control, trying to override it with the finger control. I had to basically manually pull it back. It struggled with that. So if you're going to be doing general walking around, pieces of camera, moving your hands around, it's great. It really is impressive. It's fine. It's just when you've got something really high speed. Now, I mentioned earlier on you can change the tracking speed from tortoise to hare. I tried it on hare mode. Even that, it struggled to keep up with Storm. But on the whole, I think it was generally quite impressive. We've got the PTZ, so point, tilt, and zoom. Yes, it does that. You've got a number of ways of controlling the zoom. So, especially with the gesture control, we can do that. And let's move on to gesture control. Gesture control, it's always worked with starting the recording using the OK signal. I'm not going to do it at the moment. It's always stopped or started the tracking, the AI tracking. It's always done that, and it's always, well, most of the time it's done it with the zoom to the default zoom level. It's when I try to do this. It's in tracking now. It's working now. Let's see if it'll track me back. It's flashing. Here we go. You've got to be considered. You've got to make it obvious that you're doing that. And it says not to do your gestures in front of your face because it loses it. And if you've got, say, a lighter colour background, in my case, which sort of might lose my hands there, then it struggles a little bit. But generally speaking, it works really, really well. And certainly to start recording, I don't need to be messing around with trying to press the record button and then taking my position to talk to the camera. I just wait until I'm in position, then start recording, and I'm ready to go. I'm composed. I like that. That works a treat. No, it says about NDI. This is a form of interface so you can connect up multiple cameras over networks. Yes, you can do that, but it's an additional cost subscription. So I've not tested that out. Neither have I tested it out in multiple camera mode. I've only got the one camera to try out, so I'm not too sure how it works with other cameras. HDMI, USB-C, wireless. The HDMI is a micro HDMI, which is a bit frustrating. I do actually have a micro USB cable over there, and it does work, so I'm perfectly happy with that. It's just an additional expense, because if it's a full-size HDMI cable, we've all got those lying around. But it's only a micro one. I can understand because it's a small camera. The Canon Lagria has only got a micro HDMI cable. USB-C cable, yep, that works a treat. Now, it comes with a USB-C to USB-A cable, which is what I'm currently streaming from the camera to my laptop on at the moment. But it also comes with a USB-C to USB-A converter. Not too sure why, because the end of that is USB-A to into the computer, but it doesn't convert it into a USB-C. It's the other way around. The cable is a USB-A. Well, that's USB-C into a USB-A. It doesn't quite work. That doesn't work. Anyway, by the by, that's not a problem for me. What else have we got? Well, they're all the main claims it makes. The app works really well on iPad, iPhone, and even on the PC. It comes up with a very similar app once you've downloaded the webcam app from Obsbot. When I first started it on the iPad, I thought, oh no, it's the same again, because I find this a lot, that iPad apps are often in portrait mode, and my iPad is at the moment in landscape mode. It's always in landscape mode. And when it started, it was in portrait mode. It's only in portrait mode when it goes onto the logon screen when you are trying to connect to your camera. As soon as it connects, it goes back to landscape. Brilliant, spot on. And in fact, the iPhone, that also starts off in portrait as you'd expect, but then converts to landscape. So that's what I wanted. I want it to be in landscape mode when I'm using the iPad. That's fine. The app in general is pretty good. You've got a wide control of all the options that you need, and I can tinker around with my heart's content to fine-tune things. Yeah, I like the broadcast mode. There's a broadcast window in the top right corner of the iPad, but you can also select a button which shows lots of different preset broadcast points. So you can either have, full screen, full zoom on ahead, half body, full body, or auto mode. And you just got to be a bit careful with that auto mode. I found that when it was doing auto tracking, when I tried with the remote control car, actually, I would line up the shot with the car in shot, and as soon as I moved the car, it would zoom in onto the space where it was. It's because the auto mode was suddenly going into zoom focus point rather than tracking it in the landscape as it was when I started the recording. It was a little bit odd. So you make sure the auto's not on if you're going to have auto tracking on something reasonably fast moving. But I like that broadcast mode. It was really good. And on the fly, you can drop between preset points very, very quickly. I did like that. That was good. Audio-wise, the microphones are pretty good. They're not as good as, say, the Blue Yeti microphone, which I'm currently recording to you through at the moment. But as a in-device pair of microphones, it's acceptable. If you're using it as a, say, conference call, webcam thing without any external microphones, it's not too bad. It's pretty good. I'd say it's as good, probably better than both the Logitech webcams I've got. So pleased with that. And I'm very pleased that I can connect a external microphone up. Now, I've not tried connecting the the Blue Yeti microphone via USB because I don't think it does it. I had a look on Obsbot's own website about how to connect up microphones, and it basically just said connect it via the 3.5mm auxiliary port at the back, which I did. I tried a couple of different microphones, including my the Godox microphone wireless lavalier system, which I've tested previously, and it works a treat. And at the very start of this video, when I'm walking around the camera, that's what I've got on. It works spot on. And basically, if you're going to be doing any kind of filming other than webcam use, I'd always use an external microphone. They're so much better than internal microphones. But what's included in it, it's perfectly acceptable. And yeah, happy with that. Anything else to consider? The price as tested is £499. It sounds expensive. It is expensive. certainly compared to a standard webcam, which you could pick up for, say, between £60 and £100, going into a 4K webcam, perhaps something like the Logitech Brio or Elgato's face cam type things. They're what, 100, 150 and so on and so forth. But the options that this gives you, it's a different beast entirely. And comparing it to the Nearstream VM33, which is in a similar sort of technological ballpark, the Obsbot blows it out of the park. It really does. It's so much better. And I can't think of anything at the moment that I would rather spend that kind of money on to get that kind of performance out of. I genuinely can't think of anything. My Canon Legria is twice as expensive of it, and as a webcam, I wouldn't have considered that if it wasn't for the fact that it was a test product. So I think it's pretty good value. If you can make use of the extra functions that this camera can provide you, then yeah, it's a worthwhile purchase. It's really good. I'd love to see what it's like in multi-camera setup in a full broadcast, but certainly for a one-man band such as myself, it's absolutely spot on. I can't really fault it. It's got a tripod, a proper tripod mount underneath it. It's currently mounted on a tripod. The build quality of it seems pretty reasonable to me. It's a stylish looking thing. It's with a few very small exceptions. So the auto tracking, the AI tracking, losing itself on fast moving objects. The connecting it to the computer, you've got to get into the mindset because it's a bit of a process. If you were previously connected to your mobile phone and recording to the internal memory card, you've got to make sure you go into the app on the phone, select UVC, and also make sure UVC is connected on your computer. You've got to make sure you're connected by USB-C to your computer and have some kind of power to it as well. There's a bit more to think about than just plugging in one of my webcams or my Canon Legria over there, which is just a USB-C cable, boom, it's connected. There's a bit more to think about it, but other than that, I can't think of many things that I can really criticise the Tail Air as being missing out on. It's genuinely a really, really good camera. So yeah, I'm going to leave this here. I genuinely hope this video has been useful to you. Let me know what you think about the camera in the comment section below. And if it has been useful, do maybe consider a like and a subscribe to the channel because it really does help me out. I don't get paid for this. It's just a hobby. I get no influence from anyone for reviewing something one way or another. I'm part of the Amazon Vine program. They send me a few products to test now and again, but I'm under no influence from Amazon or the manufacturer to review it one way or another. These are always my genuine thoughts on the product. There's even a Obsbot influencer referral program where I could get paid for pushing you towards you buying their camera on their website. I'm not part of that whatsoever. If you want to buy this camera, you go right ahead. It's like no skin off my nose. But I genuinely do hope it's been helpful to you, and I shall catch you on the next video. Take it easy.